Hello everyone. Today I'll be presenting the case of Faro et al. Versus Newton Electrical Limited, a product liability case in Ontario. This case is a great example of how negligence and product liability intersect in the legal system. It also highlights the importance of quality control and corporate responsibility for businesses. By the end of this presentation, you'll understand the key facts of the case, the legal principles involved, and the lessons it offers for future business leaders. Let's get started. The timeline starts in 1981 when the plaintiffs, Faro et al., purchased a three-story house in Toronto. They hired a general contractor for renovations. As part of the process, a subcontractor installed a ceiling exhaust fan in the bathroom. Just over a month later, on May 25, 1981, the ceiling exhaust fan overheated, causing a fire that damaged the plaintiff's house and its contents. The fire was caused by the seizure of the fan motor bearings, leading to a rapid buildup of heat. The thermal fuse designed to cut off power at 126 Celsius failed to operate, resulting in motor overheating and igniting the fire. After the fire, the district fire chief delivered the fan to the Canadian Standards Association for examination. The CSA employee destroyed the fan before Newton could inspect it and before Newton was notified of the plaintiff's claim. Fast forward to 1988, when plaintiffs filed a lawsuit against Newton Electrical Limited and the installer of the fan. The trial judge dismissed the plaintiff's claim. He found that the fire was caused by overheating of the fan motor. Newton was not negligent in the design of the fan. The plaintiffs failed to prove negligence in the manufacture of the motor. The trial judge also noted that the destruction of the fan by the CSA prejudiced Newton's ability to defend itself. However, the plaintiffs were not satisfied with this outcome and decided to appeal. On April 4, 1990, the Ontario Court of Appeal heard the case and made significant ruling. The court allowed the appeal, finding that the trial judge had placed too heavy a burden on the plaintiffs to prove precisely how the defect occurred. Negligence in the manufacture of the fan could be inferred from the evidence that the motor caused the fire. Newton was responsible for ensuring the safety of its product even if the defect arose from a component supplied by a third party. The destruction of the fan by CSA did not absolve Newton of liability. And now let's take a closer look at the key background information of the appeal. First, the plaintiff, Faro et al. They were the ones who suffered the damage to their house and belongings due to the fire caused by the defective ceiling exhaust fan. On the other side, the defendant, Newton Electrical Limited, the manufacturer of the ceiling exhaust fan, a subcontractor who installed the fan. However, it is important to note that the plaintiffs later abandoned their claim against the installer. Complaint: damage was caused to the plaintiff's house by the overheating of ceiling exhaust fan manufactured by Newton Electrical Limited. So a quick summary for the product involved for the case. The product at issue was a ceiling exhaust fan model 696C manufactured by Newton Electrical Limited. The fan was designed to be thermally protected by a one-shot thermal fuse, designed to cut off power if the motor overheated. They were manufactured by APCO, a third-party supplier in Chicago, to Newton's specification. After its introduction in 1979 and sold large quantities between 50,000 to 75 in 2 years, preceding the event in question without any problem being encountered. Motors were manufactured according to Newton's specification in compliance with the CSA. For the detail of the incident, the fire started when the bearing of the fan motor seized, causing a rapid buildup of heat in the motor coil. This extreme heat caused the copper winding of the coil and plastic reel to melt. The melted materials dropped onto the plastic toilet seat cover below the fan, which then ignited and began to smolder. This resulted in damage to the house and its contents assessed at $60,000. The heat buildup in the coil should have caused a properly operating thermal fuse to cut off the power. However, the fuse failed to operate, allowing the heat to continue building up until it caused the fire. The trial judge found no negligence in the design of the fan. The design had been approved by Canadian standards CSA and complied with the statutory standards. However, the appeal court took a different approach. They focused on the negligence in the manufacture of the fan motor, particularly the failure of the thermal fuse to operate as intended. The court also applied the principle of res ipsa loquitur, which means the thing speaks for itself. The court also reaffirmed that a manufacturer is responsible for defects in its product, even if the defect arises from a component supplied by a third party. The court applied the balance of probability standard, finding that it was more likely than not that the fan motor was defective when it left Newton's control. Additionally, the court acknowledged that the case involved a subrogation claim by plaintiff's insurance company, which allows insurer to step into the shoes of the insured to recover costs from responsible party. This case involves around several key legal principles that are fundamental to understanding how the court reached its decision. Let's break them down one by one. First, negligence. At its core, negligence means failing to exercise reasonable care. The court found that Newton failed to ensure the safety of its product, specifically the thermal fuse, which was supposed to prevent overheating, did not work as intended. According to our book, the tort of negligence requires the plaintiff to prove the defendant owed a duty of care that required the defendant to act carefully toward the plaintiff. In this case, Newton, as the manufacturer of the ceiling exhaust fan, owed a duty of care to the plaintiffs to ensure that the fan was safe for use. Second, breach of standard care. Newton breached its duty of care by failing to ensure the fan motor and thermal fuse were free from defects, specifically the thermal fuse. And third, caused harm to plaintiff, which was obviously breached wherein the defective fan motor led to a fire that damaged the plaintiff's home. It was also said, even if the plaintiff proves those three elements, the defendant may be able to avoid liability by proving a defense. Three possibilities are especially important. The defendant may show that the plaintiff is first guilty of contributory negligence wherein there is no evidence. Second was if plaintiff voluntarily assumed the risk of being injured, which in the case the plaintiff did not voluntarily assume the risk. And lastly, the plaintiff was injured engaged in some sort of illegal behavior, which is very unlikely as there was no evidence. The second legal principle tackled in this appeal is the product liability, which holds manufacturers responsible for defects in their products that cause harm to consumers. Here, the court ruled that Newton was liable for the defects in the fan that led to the fire. even though the motor was manufactured by a third party. Third, balance of probabilities, which according to our book requires the plaintiff to prove that it is probably true a 51% chance of higher that the defendant owed a duty of care, breached the standard of care, and caused the plaintiff to suffer loss. Lastly, vicarious liability, which means that one party can be held responsible for the action of another. In this case, Newton was held liable for negligence of its supplier, APCO. Now let's look at the judge's decision on remedies awarded in this case. The judge awarded the plaintiffs $60,000 in compensatory damage to cover the damage to their home and belongings. This aligns with the textbook definition of compensatory damages, which aims to repair the plaintiff's loss. In tort law, compensation is backward-looking. The court looks to the past and tries to undo the wrong by making the plaintiff whole again. However, the court deprived the plaintiffs of the cost of the trial and appeal. This decision was based on the fact that if the fan and motor had been available for inspection, the claim might have been settled without litigation. The court also considered the principle of remoteness. The defendant Newton was responsible for losses that were foreseeable and directly caused by their negligence. In this case, the fire and resulting damage were clearly foreseeable consequences of a defective fan. It is important to note that the court did not award punitive damages. According to the Supreme Court of Canada, punitive damages are only awarded if the defendant's conduct was harsh, vindictive, reprehensible, or malicious, which is not applicable to this case. Finally, this case does not involve nominal damage as the plaintiffs have suffered actual loss. In summary, the court's decision to award compensatory damage reflects the goal of the tort law: to repair the plaintiff's loss and restore them to the position they were in before the harm occurred. For the next section, this case offers several important lessons for future business leaders. Importance of product safety and quality control. Ensuring products are safe and defect-free is crucial to avoiding liability. Risk management and insurance. Having robust risk management strategies and adequate insurance coverage can protect business from costly loss. Documentation and evidence preservation. Proper documentation and evidence preservation can be critical in defending against liability claims. Legal compliance. Adhering to legal regulatory standards is non-negotiable for business. Lastly, corporate responsibility. Prioritizing consumer safety builds trust and protects brand reputation. In conclusion, Faro et al. Versus Newton Electrical Limited is a significant case in product liability law. It underscores the importance of manufacturers taking reasonable care in the design and manufacture of their products, even when components are supplied by third parties. The case also highlights the role of circumstantial evidence and the balance of probabilities in proving negligence. For future leaders, this case serves as a reminder to prioritize safety, quality, and legal compliance to avoid costly litigation and protect consumers. Thank you for taking the time to watch my presentation. I hope we pick up something valuable today, whether it's deeper understanding of product liability, the importance of corporate responsibility, or the legal principles that hold manufacturers accountable for the safety of their products. Thank you.